Alright, in this video we are looking at the answer key for pages 18 and 19. So our first one is to write the equation for the tangent line in slope-intercept form for the tangent shown below. So here's our tangent. Our first step is to take and find the slope between this radius and the tangent line, which is going to be 5. And then what we want to know is we want to find out what this slope is, and what's in pink and what's in yellow are perpendicular. And so the perpendicular slope, remember, is opposite and reciprocal. So if we have a 5, that is -1/5. We then take this point here that is our tangent point, and we use point slope form. So we have y minus 11 is equal to -1/5 times x minus 5. And then we do the same two steps that we always do to go from point slope form to slope intercept form. We take and do the distributive property. And after we do the distributive property, we take that -11 and add 11. And we end up with y equals -1/5 x plus 12. In 2 to 4, we just had to answer the questions about the given circle. So the first thing they're asking us in all of them is what is the center, and the second thing is what is the radius. So we really have to know our equation here. And remember, our equation is x minus the h value, which is the center of the circle. So if we look at this, it's x plus. What that came from is x minus a -7. So that h value is -7. If we look at y minus the k value is 11. Now here's where we look at the 27, and that is r squared. R squared is 27. We want to find r, so I square root both sides. 27 is composed of 9 times 3. And if we take the radical, that is 3 times the square root of 3. And that is our radius. Looking at number 7, here we have x minus a -7. That means that -7 was once the x-coordinate of the circle. And then if we look here, y minus 11, the minus means that this is going to be a positive coordinate. When we look at 72, that is r squared equals 72. We need r to equal the square root of 72, which means that that is going to be 13 times the square root of 2. Excuse me, that means it's going to be 36 times 2. And 36 is a perfect square, and so therefore we're going to have 6 times the square root of 2. Last one of these type, we're going to have x minus 6, so our h value is at 6, y minus 4, our k value is at 4. The square root of 24 is what r squared is. We need to know what the r value is, the square root of 24, which is 4 times 6. Which is going to give us 2 times the square root of 6. All right, if we look at number 5 says the equation of a circle, write the equation of the circle where the center is 1, -9, and the radius is 20 times the square root of 7. So we're going to start with x minus the h value, which is 1, squared, plus parenthesis y minus the k value, which is a -9, squared. And that's going to be equal to 20 times the square root of 7. This then is going to be x minus 1 squared and y plus 9 squared. And then that is going to equal 2,800. That would be 20 times 20 times 7. Number 6, write the equation of the circle with the center at 7 and -32. So x minus our x value here is 7. Our y value is our diameter, and we're going to measure that also. So we're going to have y minus a negative 32, and that is going to equal to, if 6 times the square root of 7 was our radius, then if we square that, that's going to be 36 times 7, which is 252. Number 7, we need to write the equation of the circle with the center negative 1625 with a radius of 5 times the square root of 3. So x minus 16 becomes x minus a negative 16, which turns into x plus 16. Y minus 25 should remain a y minus 25. And if you take 5 times the square root of 3, that would be 5 times the square root of 3, and we square it, that would be 25 times the square root of 3, or 75. In number 8, the x, or the h value, x minus a negative 5, which becomes x plus 5. The k value, y minus the k value, which is 4. And then equal to, and that's going to give us the radius squared, which is 2 times the square root of 6. And if we square that, we're going to have 4 times the square root of 6, which will give us 24. Moving on to number 9, true and false problems here. If we look at this, the center is 4, negative 3. Well, if we look over here, x minus 4 and y minus 3, they would have to both be the positive coordinates 4, 3. True or false, the radius is 5 units. Well, if this was 25, and that is the radius squared, and when we square root 25, that's going to give us a 5, and therefore that is true. Number 10, write the equation for the circle that is shown. So our HK is should be 0. Sorry. Oops. Should be 0, negative 3. And so we have x minus 0, which is going to simplify to just x squared. Y minus a negative 3. And so when we look at this, this is going to give us x squared and then we're going to have plus y minus 3 squared, and then when we count over, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in any direction, and that's going to be 36, and that's going to be the equation. Here we have some graphs. When we go to look at these, I'm going to show you what points we want to see on there, even though your circle may not be perfect. If we look at what this comes, if we have an x squared and a y squared, what that tells us is that our HK is at the origin 0, 0. And if we have r squared is 81, the radius is 9. So we take these two pieces of information, we mark off the origin here, and then we count and say, well, here is, we sometimes call this our north, east, west, south. So if I count up 9, there's a point, that's my north point. If I count down 9, that's my south point. If I count to the east, that is going to be my east point. And if I count to my west, that will be my west point. And then we're going to take and draw our circle. And you can use something better to have. We have at home. This is kind of difficult to draw a circle on the iPad here. But what I'm looking for is that you have the center placed and all 4 of the points, the north, east, south, west points. All right, if we look at number 15, if we see a -3, then what that means is that that has come from a +3. If we see y plus 6, then that means that the 6 is going to be a -6. And if this is r squared equals 25, if we square root both sides, then the radius is going to equal 5. So all we really need is those 3 pieces of information. That we're going to start at 3, -6. And then we're going to take a radius of 5. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't matter which direction you do them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we go to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we go up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we attempt to draw our circle. But remember that what I'm really looking for is correctly that you have those 4 points placed and that you have the circle in the center placed correctly. All right, let's look at number 13. If we look at number 13, we have minuses in both of those. And so that tells me that the HK, the temporary vertex, is at at 4 and 2. So I'm going to go to 4 and 2. And then if r squared is 9, then r is equal to 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then now that you've got the points, go ahead and draw your circle. All right, and then number 14. All right, in our very last problem here, we're going to look and find the center of the circle. And the center of the circle is, if we have x minus a -5, that's going to be the h value there is -5, and y minus 1, the k value is going to be 1. And so that's going to be the center of our circle. Our HK is going to be at -5, 1 right here. And if r squared is 16, then r is going to be 4. And so we're going to put in our north, east, west, south points. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 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 And then we're going to take and draw our circle.